Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mark at TapeTally.com for your Week 11 recap. Let's jump right into it again. What I'm going to do a little bit differently this time is I'm not going to go over the abnormal stocks that we had for this week. I'm going to go over something that I do on a weekly basis just to get an overall feel of where the market is heading. Um, First thing I do is I take a look on a weekly time frame on the overall markets and where they are within their current channel. The market's kind of always channeling. There's always a channel you can draw. Now, if you want more information on how to draw channel lines and stuff, there's a book that I have kind of used as a basis for how I draw these lines, and it's Far From Random by Richard Lehman. I think I've mentioned it before in a video, and yeah, it just kind of basically says that you can put parallel channel lines around anything, and it should contain all of the data points and on and on. Now that you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt because you can't do that with every single thing, as you'll see as we'll go through. And I don't have a strategy built around these channels, but it kind of gives me an idea of where the market is, and it is amazing that, how often a market will either stall at a top channel line or bounce right off of the bottom one. So, thing I like to do here, we'll look on the SPY on the weekly, and as we can see here, we had another decent week, and I think we were up. Let me take a look. Where are we up this week? I think we were up almost 2% this week on the Spider, and 2%, almost 2.5% for the Qs, and on and on. It was quite a good week for the markets again. Lower volume, yes, but nonetheless, markets going up. So as we can see, we've kind of crossed over the middle of this channel here, and we're heading towards the top. So we can probably expect, if we get up there, we can expect some consolidation or a pullback. Let's look at the Qs. Same kind of deal here. We are approaching. That's mainly due to Apple. I believe that the outperformance on the Nasdaq is basically all caused by the outperformance of Apple. I think it's up over 30% this year. So it's that chart's getting quite euphoric. I would expect sooner or later that chart will correct, and it will be bad for most shareholders. Okay, we can move on to the small cap stuff. The iShares Russell 2000 index, and as we can see, we're in the middle of this channel here. This is all in a weekly time frame, don't forget, so this is kind of a longer term view. We're in the middle of the channel, so we're kind of neutral here. Dow Jones Industrial Average, same kind of deal. We'll see a lot of these overall market ETFs kind of look the same. Gold. This does not look good for gold. I know we talked about a bounce here and stopping in about here or up here, and it kind of did stop here, and we had a large volume day, I believe it was a couple of weeks ago, and this market doesn't look good. This is a double top formation here, and we should expect a pullback. If it breaks this trend line here, I will be looking to probably short gold on a pull up somewhere where there's a good risk reward payoff. So for the time being, I would say gold is neutral to bearish. United States oil funds still consolidating here. This is kind of a bullish pattern here inside this channel. We can see here that it did break out, but it's been consolidating for the last 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks. So I have seen in individual stocks that money is rotating into these names, so that should be something definitely that you'll need to watch. The VXX here, well, this doesn't really tell you much. Maybe we'll look at that one again on the daily here, but the volatility is coming out of the markets as the markets go up. And the Canadian markets here, we could have drawn, just show you kind of how I draw these lines here. Typically I'll draw along the tops first. Try and get all the data points in there. Yeah. Alright, close enough. And then I draw a parallel line, and you try and get as close as you can to it. So we could also, there's many ways to draw a channel. You could draw a channel this way. Draw a channel this way. You can, there's channels within channels. And what it does basically is gives you a framework of where the market's at for the time being. It's nothing, like I said before, it's nothing that I've found a strategy that I can exploit any market inefficiencies, but I think that it does help kind of get an overall feel of where markets are. Now what we'll also do is we'll go through the sectors here. So took the initiative here and went ahead and drew the channels before I started the video here, so we can see that consumer discretionary stocks, they are reaching their upper line here, upper channel line, and if we're in the midst or at the beginning of a bull run, we'll see stocks like this either, well, they'll probably rotate. The stocks within the sector will rotate as they come in and out of favor. They will rotate into something, let's say there's money rotating into this sector, right? So as we can see, this one's in the middle of its channel. Consumer discretionary ETFs, stocks are kind of at their upper trend line. So maybe that's something that, if you're heavy in these stocks, you may want to rotate into something that where the rest of the money is flowing. And by that, you can check on which stocks are acting abnormally on a daily basis. Same thing with here, consumer staples. You can see this one's in the middle of its channel. Energy fund in the middle of its channel. This is one that, like I said before, money is starting to rotate. Oil is increasing, although it is stuck in the middle of the channel, so we don't want to get too heavy into this sector unless we can definitely see some breakouts on individual stocks. So this kind of gives you a good basis. Financials, like in my opinion, money is flowing into financials and energy. And as you can see, they both ended up green, which is just a coincidence. They both ended up green on Friday, or up. Green means up, red means down. And so let's take a look at the financials. We had, like, for example, some stocks that looked quite good. Let's look at Bank of America. It broke out quite good on, what was that, a Monday? I think that was Tuesday, actually. Tuesday, look at JP Morgan, same kind of deal. Goldman Sachs, I think this one released there was some bad press on it. I believe one of their disgruntled employees had sent out a letter about how bad the culture is and everything. And actually, I bought this one on this day, and then this ex-employee wrote this op-ed piece, and I sold out the next day because they've been receiving a lot of bad press, and it was either between Goldman Sachs or Bank of America that I was going to buy, and I chose the wrong one. But that's the way it is. That's trading, and so yeah, as you can see. Go back to the weeklies here. As we can see, I really see money starting to rotate into this sector, into the banking sector. It doesn't make sense, but making sense won't make you money. Let's look at the healthcare sector. Same kind of thing. It's a little bit higher than halfway through its channel. Once again here, industrial's halfway through the channel. So a lot of these you'll notice are halfway through the channel. We see like materials here, they have kind of been underperforming. So you want to look at everything sort of in context as well. So the technology spider fund here, This one is probably mainly caused to Apple. There's a lot of Apple in that movement right there. So, if you're heavy in consumer discretionary and technology, you may want to rotate into energy and financials. It's just something to think about, something to guide your capital. So let's take a look at this one as well. This is the Wilshire Real Estate Investment Trust. Same kind of thing. This is kind of a steady uptrend. So that's kind of basically what I'm doing on a weekly basis. Not only do I, especially on the weekends, not only do I look at charts of all the abnormal stocks, I look at some intraday action to see when stocks are moving. Are they moving in the morning, midday, or at the end of the day? I'm looking at sectors, I'm looking at industries, overall markets, abnormal stocks in general. So there's a lot of work that goes into it, but if you put the work in, you will achieve the results that you want. So that's it for this week. Trade well.